What's up, guys? Welcome to the James Beaudrie Podcast, where I sit down with people from all walks of life to talk about their stories, experiences, and ideas. This podcast is brought to you by Watson Motors, the official studio sponsor. If you're in need of a Jeep, Ram, or Dodge, or whatever, these guys have you covered with great deals and even better service. So hit them up in Manistee, Benzie, or Ludington, or check them out online at watsonmotors.com. Listen, support the people that support the show. Now let's get into it. How long have you been in law enforcement?
7 years, just under 7 years, and that's kind of broken up between a couple different things. Like starting at the sheriff's office, and then I moved on into a military role. That was.
I wanted to talk about that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because you didn't tell me that. I can't remember who said that to me. Maybe it was your dad. At some point, maybe brought that up to me. But I was like, that sounds kind of fucking cool. Like, how did you go from the sheriff's department to that?
Well, there's nothing special about it, really.
Really?
It was more just like an opportunity that popped up, and my wife Haley and I were already wanting to eventually move over by her family downstate, and the military had just posted a role. It's a counter drug program, and so basically, like, you know, there's local law enforcement has like drug teams throughout the state, and it's all run by the state police, and the Army National Guard kind of just supports these drug teams in analytical roles, and so the opportunity popped up to, you know, apply for this and potentially kind of work by Lansing, and then her family's over by Flint. And so, you know, the job opportunity came up, and so I went for it, and I wound up getting hired to work over by Ann Arbor, which it was perfect for where we wanted to live. It was a pretty short drive, and it was a role as an analyst for a drug team downstate. And you know, the pay was decent when, you know, going from sheriff's office to, you know, military, and so it was worth it financially. Just if we're going to move downstate, we may as well, you know, get paid to move down there, and you know, work a military role for a while. But really,
this episode is brought to you by Brandon Ball, broker owner of Dwelling Realty, Keller Williams, Northern Michigan. Are you looking to sell your home? Then look no further. When you list your home with Brandon Ball, you'll get a trusted advisor who will guide you through the entire selling process. With extensive knowledge of the local market, he'll help price your home competitively to attract the right buyers. And with proven marketed strategies, your home will be seen by the most qualified of buyers. With 17 years in the business, you'll have someone experienced who's on your side. Contact Brandon today to get started selling your home. 231-690-4981. That's 231-690-4981. Or Brandon at dwellingrealty.com.
Really, the job, it just wasn't. It wasn't for me because I was used to being a cop, and now I'm just kind of sitting at a desk and.
Oh, see, no, that's totally not what I thought it was. Not what I thought it was. Did you have to join the military, or was this like a contract thing with the military?
So I've been in the Army since my senior year of high school.
I did not know.
So
that.
Army, yeah. Cool. So Army National Guard. You know, when I was 18, I got into it. I've been in it ever since. It's like a part-time job, like 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks out of the year. And so when you're part of the Army National Guard, there's all these other full-time military positions you can take. Like, it's incredible. But they posted the counter drug position, and it was, you know, just at the time it worked. But yeah, it was like, you know, it's cool. Like, if you've never been in law enforcement before and you're jumping into the Army, like, counter drug program, it would be like a dream job, and I probably never would have left it if I was never a cop. But when you know, you're at a desk and you're kind of doing analytical work, you know, you're researching bad guys and, you know, trying to give good information to the detectives, so they can, like, build their case. You know, that would be the coolest job for a lot of people, and for me it was like, well, I've already been the cop doing, you know, the cases and going after the bad guys, and I feel like I demoted myself. So, you know, I jumped back into law enforcement very quickly. I was probably in the counter drug program like 8 months, you know, so, but.
So what's your MLS in the Army?
So I'm a 92 Yankee, which is a supply specialist.
Okay.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with
law enforcement,
an intelligence role. Yeah. So they just liked me because I was a police officer already,
yeah.
and I had experience. So I worked the drug team around here. I don't know if we talked about that in the past.
No.
So
enlighten me. This is good shit.
Okay. So I may as well just start.
Yeah, just start.
I feel like we're jumping all over the place here. So So Army National Guard, age 18. By the time I was 21, I'd gone through the West Shore Police Academy, and I got hired by Manistee County Sheriff's Office. I wound up falling in love with law enforcement. I originally got into it just because I was in the military, and law enforcement is like a paramilitary environment, right? So they kind of go hand in hand in a way. And also the convenience of I wasn't sure I wanted to go to a university and get a bachelor's degree or anything like that. So, and we offer an associate's program, and you could stay home. So I did that, got into law enforcement, worked 1 year as road patrol, wound up falling in love with the job. I couldn't stop pulling cars over. It was like, just the excited rookie who's just over the top. I just compare it to just being hyper. But anyway, 1 year as a road patrol deputy. At the time, it was Sheriff O'Hagan. He pulled me into his office, and he was like, "Man, you want to be on the drug team?" Because, well, one, it's not because I was some super cop at 1 year. I was pretty, very fresh to the career still. But he just liked my work ethic, and he needed to fill a position. And, at the time, nobody wanted to fill it. And so he came to me.
Why would nobody want to fill that? It seemed like it'd be
preference. Hard. It was just a small PD, and, people they want to continue with what's comfortable.
Gotcha.
Nice schedule. And we had one guy who was on the team and got off, and at just small PD. So I was next in line, and I decided to go for it. So I got on the drug team as a 1 year cop, which for anybody who's been in law enforcement, they could cringe at that right there. I mean, I knew almost nothing, and I'm a detective on the dope team. But I did that for just under 2 years. COVID kind of got in the way and made it difficult. But it probably experience-wise, I came back to the road I may as well been 5-6 year veteran on the job. I was completely different. It was the best thing that could have happened in my career is going on. It's called S.S.C.E.N.T around here.
Yeah.
But you want to dive into S.S.C.E.N.T?
Cool, yeah, anything cool in S.S.C.E.N.T? I'm sure, dude.
Yeah, I mean...
Let me tell you a quick story about S.S.C.E.N.T real quick.
Okay.
I had one experience with them. So this is a lifetime ago. I was a Marine officer for the Sheriff's Department.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. When I got out of the Air Force, it was like, that's all I wanted to do was be a cop. But, and I was very cock strong, you know what I mean? I was that guy. And one night I was at a bar, and I knew this dude was selling drugs, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder if anybody else knows that kind of thing. So I went back, and this is when Kolakowski was the sheriff. Mm-hmm. And I told him about it, and he was like, well, maybe we can get you to try to get something from him, get a buy off of him. So we'll bring in S.S.C.E.N.T. So I met the S.S.C.E.N.T detective one night at one of the cemeteries. I think it was out at Oak Grove. It was weird. It's I'm driving out here trying to find this guy, and he's in a little like a geospectrum, and he's got a long beard and long hair, and he's smoking Marlboros, and there's empty beer cans and shit in the car, he's in the undercover mode. You're not gonna figure out that this guy's a cop thing.
Right.
It was just kind of weird. Anyways, we did a thing where we went to the bar and we waited, and the guy never came, and it's not a big story, but it was more this is kind of boring to me. We're sitting here with a bucket of beers in front of us waiting for somebody to walk in. He did come in, and we tried to do a buy, hey, my guy here wants to get some, and I think he knew right away. He was like, this is bullshit. There's no fucking way I'm selling to you guys, because he kept saying, I don't do any of that. And we knew he did, because prior to that, they were showing me mug shots, and they're like, is this the guy? I'm like, yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
So they knew he was a dealer.
Yeah.
But it's like he knew right away. He could smell it.
It's pretty obvious, I would say. Like just trying to set up a deal in the area was so hard because like it's a small town for one, so everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And you're trying to like, you know, I'd assume you were going to try to introduce the undercover.
That's what I was doing. Yeah.
So yeah, it's extremely difficult to do that. Like it can be done, you know, like, you know, I was able to get it done a couple times, but man, it's like peeling back the layers of an onion, and like it's like everybody's so paranoid that's in that realm, you know, rightfully so. You're doing things illegal. So so man, it's hard to introduce somebody for sure, or to be the undercover, getting introduced to it. And I don't have
like you're doing that here, and like you said, it's a small town.
Yeah, so S.S.C.E.N.T, it's a multi-jurisdictional team, right? So it works like Manistee, Mason, Oceana, and Lake County. So for me, like I don't have a ton of undercover experience. Like I said, like I was a rookie cop. COVID kind of got in the way, so I did very minimal undercover work, but I did do, you know, one by in like the Ludington area, right? So Ludington, they're not going to know who I am, you know. They're not going to recognize my face as a cop, right?
Yeah.
But just brought us. So what's funny is, probably the only cop who can say this ever, my very first traffic stop and my very first drug deal are the same person.
Shut the fuck up.
Seriously.
And he didn't recognize you?
No.
That's wild, dude.
It was hilarious.
I mean, I would be a little nervous if I was you. Like, this guy, I think he...
Yeah, you know, at the time when I was so fired up, I was so nervous to make that deal that I didn't even know until after the fact. When like the dust is settled and I was looking at things, I'm like, yeah, I know who these people are. They were both in the first car I ever stopped. They were both in there, and it winds up that they walk up to me and sell me fentanyl, and
That's wild.
Yeah, had no idea until after the fact. Like the first traffic stop, first drug deal, same people.
Wow.
So that's such a coincidence. Like the odds of that are almost zero. It's insane. But
well, unless you're, you know, a fucking criminal who's got no brains.
Yeah. So a lot of the people you deal with are like, just not necessarily intelligent people. You know, when it comes to that. But there's the good ones don't get caught though. There's some really smart ones out there that they don't get caught, or it's really difficult too. But you know, a lot of the times you're dealing with somebody who probably is using a product.
Yeah.
And they're just selling. Say they're like a heroin user. They're selling meth on the side, and so they're always high. And it's just they need the money to get their next fix, so they're going to sell to anybody. So yeah, it's, you know, sometimes. You're not dealing with the most intelligent person, but you know they're trying
dangerous work.
Yeah, it can be pretty dangerous. You know, luckily for me, like this area, I mean, it's dangerous everywhere. Like with Manistee, you're dealing with a lot of like, if you're trying to get the big fish, you're dealing with somebody from like Muskegon Heights, right? Like who's bringing dope up here and. You know, dispersing it to your local level drug dealers in Manistee, and you know, if you have like I've had like a few cases involving the Muskegon Heights like dealers, and that's where the danger is. I mean, like I'm not gonna say, you know, like a Manistee dealer isn't dangerous or anything. They're all dangerous. You just assume everybody's armed and dangerous. But but like I've heard some stories about Muskegon Heights, like like dealers from our town going down there and getting shot, you know, and then coming back up here, and so the drug world is completely dangerous and wild. But I don't know, like. We have to backtrack now. Well, I feel like I got off track.
No, you're fine, dude. We've got all morning. So like I remember when Chief Kozel left to go to Muskegon, we would text every now and then or call, just, you know, because he was a part of Run the Pier when it first started. And I like him a lot. I think he's a good dude. But so he would tell me, he's like, man, it's fucking, I go, how's it going down there? He's like, I mean, murder, drug bust, drive-by. It's like daily, you know? Like, who wants to be a part? I mean, you got to be a special human to be a part of that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no,
I mean, really.
You do. You really do. And it's not for everybody. And I can't say like, man, I'll never say I was like this badass, like the best drug cop out there, or like that, you know, like I'm some high end dope cop. Like I did it and I got good at it towards the end, for as good as I could be for little experiences I had. But it's definitely not for everybody. Like where I work right now, there's guys like their whole life is around like being a drug cop. Like even back on the road, they form their strategy of how they're a road cop around the drug cop experience they have. But no, it's not for everyone. Like I wound up, remember I moved to Ludington at one point.
I remember that. I know like, why.
A lot of it was because like I was getting so sick of everywhere I went in Manistee, like I just knew too much. And so I wanted to kind of like separate and get a little change of pace from that. Like it made me look at the town kind of negatively when I was on the team, which is unfortunate because this is my favorite place in the world. Like I'm here by myself for a few days just to go out and spend time outdoors, and you know I love it here. Right. But in the moment of being on the dope team, it really kind of like it really made me kind of sick of the town and, you know, disappointed really would be the word.
Is it kind of like the Matrix in that like you just all of a sudden see everything? Like I will see shit, but and be like, that's definitely a problem right there.
Yeah.
Or definitely a problem there. But I feel like you would have this where you just see it all. And I could only imagine seeing that the way you see it. And I gotta I'll come here and work, but I gotta move.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. But right, yeah, you'd be driving down 31. You look to your right. Oh yeah, there's a dope dealer that lives in the you know downstairs apartment there. Look to your left. Oh yeah, 2 houses down on that street. There's another big time drug dealer right there. And then you drive and you see somebody walking down the sidewalk, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, I know who that person is. Or that's bad news right there. They're probably going either selling or buying from somebody right now. And it's like everywhere you look, you know, just like I know that. I know that car right there. That car. That's somebody that uses. That's somebody that deals. You know, and but. In a way, though, it kind of defined who I am as a police officer. Like being on S.S.C.E.N.T, like I feel like I'm making a negative outlook of what it was in of Manistee, which is not the case at all, right? I'd say it made me like a dangerous weapon as a road cop when I got back. Like it shaped me as in law enforcement for sure. Like that just under 2 years, it shaped my whole career after that. Honestly, I think I was more effective to the community as a road cop after being on S.S.C.E.N.T because I could do things kind of my own way, and you know I could make the traffic stop, put the handcuffs on the person. I didn't have to go through all these you know layers of building up of an investigation, right? So I would say I enjoy being a road cop more than I enjoyed being a detective on the drug team. I loved being on the drug team, and it made me great. But being a road cop is where, you know, that's where my passion is in law enforcement. And so with all the, you know, talking about looking to my left and right, there's a drug dealer, there's a drug dealer, there's a drug dealer, and being in a small town, like that made me effective coming back, like on the road. And I think that's where the fun begins, really. Like for me, I think my second shift, road patrol after S.S.C.E.N.T, I busted, not like necessarily busting him with drugs, but the biggest drug dealer that I was after, pulled him over, arrested him that night. I got him on some violations. He had a scale with powder on it and stuff, so I got drug charges off of him. Second night on road patrol, I've been after that guy for a year. Second night on road patrol, I just, you know, parked my cruiser over by an area that I knew drug deals were going on. That was a little shady. saw a car run a stop sign, did some erratic moves, banged the block, came back, ran the stop sign again. Like, that car looks sketchy. That's weird, and it's midnight when I do this. Well, no, it wasn't midnight. It was probably like 8, 9 o'clock, because it was Super Bowl night, and I pissed some people off who were watching the Super Bowl, come back to back me up on that stop. But anyway, runs the stop sign. So I get behind it, pull it over, it's slow to stop, and I walk up to the car, and I do a passenger side approach just to kind of keep myself safe, and you kind of get the element of surprise when you walk up to the vehicle. And I looked in the car before they could see me, and front seat passenger was this drug dealer from Muskegon Heights. I knew exactly who he was, and I'm like, no way. There's no way I just did this, so long story short, I arrest this dealer from Muskegon. The driver was you get a lot of locals in Manistee who are big-time users, and they make themselves known just because they're reckless with their drug use, and they're just out doing really erratic things. See, there's some that, as the police world, we know who they are, because their name is always popping up for everything, right? And so I knew who this individual was. I knew who the dealer was. Able to get a good arrest. Second night off the dope team, right? Because I just got information, right? And I learned how to be a cop differently. There was, fast forward maybe a month from there. Like, I was working midnights, and if you didn't know, Manistee County at midnight shift, there's not many things happening in Manistee.
I would have think that after midnight is when the shit pops off.
Well, yes, shit does pop off, but like, it's hard to find vehicles, is what I'm saying. Like, you can go to Calava, Brethren, Wellston, do this huge loop around the county and not see one vehicle for hours. So I would find myself, right, with the information I knew, like, as a drug cop, I'd find myself gravitating towards the city of Manistee a lot with my patrols. And one night I'm sitting, I think is it Victorian Carport across from Parkdale Wesco? Yep. I was sitting in like the parking lot, blacked out, and there's a guy walking into Wesco, right? 2 a.m. or so. And it was a massive snowstorm that night too, dude. Like, any normal cop wouldn't be out patrolling, but I just had this, like, I was still new to my career, and I was just like hyper, right? Just ready to get after it, right? Yeah. So anyway, looking at Wesco, and there's this dude walking in there, and I'm like, I know who that guy is. That's a heroin dealer. That guy's selling fentanyl. Jeez. I'm like, I know exactly who that guy is, because I took an overdose when I was on S.S.C.E.N.T, and that was some guy overdosed and almost died. And the drug dealer is this guy that I'm looking at walking to his car from Wesco. And I'm like, okay, like, that's a bad dude. Let's get him stopped. Mind you, there's 1.5 feet of snow on the road. And so I find it's easy to find a violation, right? Run the plate, doesn't even come back to the vehicle he's driving. And so I get him stopped in the city of Manistee. And long story short, man, I get a PWID off of this.
What's that? It's
possession with intent to deliver.
Gotcha.
It's like 7 grams of fentanyl he had in his car, something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, and that was a huge win for me. Like, and this guy got somebody to overdose and almost die by selling them dope. And who knows after that? That's just what I know, right?
Yeah.
How many times do you hear somebody in town like ODing and dying, right? Or somebody that is found dead in their car, like they're overdosing on fentanyl, right? A lot of them, right? Not everybody. That's not the case for every dead person, but a lot of these young people that shouldn't be dead at age 30,
yeah,
are ODing on fentanyl, right? And I was able to know who that guy was, watch him walk out to his car, get him stopped, find a legal search on his car, and get that dope off the street and get that drug dealer in jail. And that was a huge win. And like, that makes you feel good, right? Like,
yeah.
So
hell yeah, dude.
So yeah, like, I can dive into a bunch more stories just like that. But like, just being on the drug team, coming back for road patrol, like, the effectiveness I was as a road cop working here, it was so much fun. And that's where I felt like I was actually making a difference in the community, right? Mm-hmm. Like I love Manistee, and like, I felt, this is where I was born and raised, went to school. This is where I met my wife, and I was finally starting to contribute what I felt like actually contributing to this community through being a police officer. One of my favorite stories is, again, I gravitate towards Manistee as a road cop. City cops hated that because I'm a deputy. They're like, go out in the county. And I'm like, ask any of them, right? Like any of them that knew me when I was working here, like I was always in the city, and not all of them hated it, but some of them just gave me shit all the time for it. And I'm like, whatever, man. I'm like, the city of Manistee is in the county. I'm gonna be here, But I'd go sit. I mean, we all know living here what areas are a little more sketchy. Like you look and you're like, like that. Unfortunately, like that. Yeah, that spot looks a little sketchy. Yeah. But as a cop, with knowledge I had, those are some spots I like to go to. Right. I should be finding bad guys and arresting them as a cop in this community. Right. So I should go to those areas and find the people doing bad things. And so that's what I would do. So I was parked, running speed. And this one car is flying down the road, and it's a 25 right there, and it's like I'm at 40. Most people speed in 25s, right? So I'm trying to flip around to get behind this guy, and he literally takes the most convenient first left-hand turn, right-hand turn. We're in the city, we're talking over by Morton Salt, kind of, and so how it's really condensed right there. He's literally taking every turn possible, and I'm trying to catch up behind him. And there's a citizen just standing out in his yard, pointing his hand down the road like he went that way. He's pointing in the direction this car was going, and which is funny because I pulled that guy over probably an hour before, and the one pointing his finger, gosh. So I'm like, okay, and I can see I can see the ass end of the car like banging the block, and at one point I guessed what direction it went just using common sense, and you look to your right and you can see him. I look to your left, you can see 50 feet. I'm like, he went to the left, because I can't see him I would be able to see him. But anyway, I keep banging the blocks and guess kind of where he went. Next thing I know, his car is literally parked in somebody's front yard, like in the grass, like just ripped it right in the front yard and opened, and the door's wide open, right? Yeah, and I'm like, let's fucking go. So I just get out of my car. I'm like in a full out sprint, and I'm just guessing like, oh, he's probably went to the backyard. So I look into the backyard and I see him jumping over a fence, and he's kind of a heavier set dude. And I'm like, oh, I got this guy. He's done, So I'm running towards that fence, and I'm like, stop, police. And then I'm like, taser, taser, taser. And I don't have my taser out, but I'm trying to just scare the shit out of this guy, right? Because I don't know if he's got a gun, a knife. I don't know if he's going to try to fight me. So I'm trying to just make him terrified that like, oh, I better listen, because but so he jumps on, he jumped the fence, and it was really a difficult fence to jump. He could have just kept going, and I yelled taser, and he just jumped on the ground, and so I jumped the fence, and he's on the ground, and I put him in handcuffs and walk him to my car. And this guy is a meth dealer who I knew from S.S.C.E.N.T, right? And so just another win for me in my, in my investigative, what cars to pull over, what ones not to pull over, and it was another one for the community. And what's funny about this traffic stop is when you're the drug cop in town, the bad guys know you very well, right? Because there's only one. There's only one Manistee S.S.C.E.N.T deputy, and at the time there was no city one. So there usually is two from the county, but there was no city one at the time, so it was just me. So I worked the city, and they all knew me, right? And this was the biggest compliment probably I've ever had in my career. Was I knew the guy was a meth dealer. I'm like, and I want to get him to confess that he ran from me. Just makes the police report look better. And I'm like, man, why'd you run? And he's like, well, I saw your face and I knew you'd fucking arrest me.
He knew you.
And I'm like, man, inside I'm like, hey, that's like you just fight, that just boosted my ego. Thanks, man. That was awesome. That was the best thing I've ever heard in my life. You saw my face and you ran because you knew how to arrest you. Man, because you're selling drugs right now, and you knew, and he could, I'm running speed, and he's looking into my window, and he saw it was me in that patrol car, and he just took off. I didn't I didn't even hit my lights, and he just took off. Like, eventually I did hit my lights, right? But just seeing my face made this guy run from me, and I caught him, and I'm like, okay, like these, like, so, like, they knew who I am because they knew I was a drug cop, but that was a compliment to me because it's like, these guys know I'm out here, like, getting after it. Like they know, like, you can't win the war against drugs as a one person in this county, right, or anywhere. It's a pandemic, but I put the pressure on these people so much that they were terrified of me, which was great, and that's what the community needed at the time that I was here working. Right, was somebody who's putting the pressure on these dope dealers in town, and I was able to get after this guy, and took a meth dealer down that day, and there was, like I said, I got the heroin dealer before that. There was, I'm trying to think of another story about that too. There's another one, but I just can't. It's not coming to my mind right now. We'll have to circle back to it if we got time.
Well,
right?
We got plenty of time, dude. Do you ever get I don't want to say scared, but nervous, like really?
No,
nervous?
that's a good question, because it's yes. The answer, of course, I'm a human, and if you're not scared, you're not nervous, there's something wrong with you. If you're going after dangerous people, like if you're talking about like getting shot at and getting hurt and somebody fighting you, or like when you look at the news or in town, and even in Manistee local level here, and you see that, there is a shooting.
Yeah.
Well, the chances are high, in my opinion, from my experience, right? I'm not speaking on behalf of law enforcement here, but in my opinion, from my experience, the chances are high that was drug related. If just these random shootings, on 7th Street, there was a shooting at this house. Well, there's probably drug related somehow, some way, right? Or it's just, it might not be, but I'd say the odds are high. And so you have to have a respect for what you're getting into. Like if that's your target is to go after drugs and real bad guys, yes, you should be nervous, because these are the people that will have guns, and these are the people who will shoot at you, and these are the people who don't want to go to jail, right? That is the dangerous people. And even where I'm at now, man, I'm dealing with gang level stuff, right? And I didn't really deal with that here at all. And so I got to
talk to you at the Elks when you came up for that chili cook-off.
Yeah.
And when we started this conversation about coming on the podcast, and I brought up drugs here, but then you started, because I'm like, how do you fucking get the whole network or whatever? But then you started to explain to me about the Detroit Flint deal with the gangs and the cars.
Yeah.
That's wild shit.
It is. And there's people way more intelligent than me who are working these roles, right? So I'm not speaking as the expert on this. But it's just, so just like Muskegon Heights dealers, moving drugs up to Manistee, the Flint area, Detroit, it would be moving up from Detroit more than likely, right? But yeah, there is some Detroit gang, and this is, you can go on the news and find this as public information as well, but there is a gang from Detroit that has been coming up towards the Flint area and stealing cars, mass amounts of vehicles, and just driving them downstate, and then they wind up just car theft. And I don't want to dive too deep into it, because I don't want to I don't want to piss anybody off, but yeah, there's massive car theft. Detroit coming up, stealing, moving the cars down, and wherever they go from there. You're dealing with a lot of dangerous people over there, and it's so. Are
you enjoying the road aspect of this new place?
Yeah, no, it's so. I took everything I learned from Manistee, and somehow found a police department that was perfect for that skill set, and perfect, literally couldn't have picked a better spot. In my interview, they're like, what do you like the most about being a cop? And so I was just honest. I'm like, well, I like pulling cars over, because not just because I want to pull a car over and look cool and like give a ticket for speed, because I'm like that. In my opinion, I hate that. That's dumb. Like I want to get after real criminals. Like I want to arrest somebody with a warrant for their arrest, or I want to arrest somebody who has a legal gun in the car, who has stolen property, who has drugs, right? And I was honest in my interview, and that's exactly what that police department wanted me to do. Like that's what they want anyway, because he's like, some police departments are more, they're more like public oriented and just kind of like, like community policing, and it's just every police department's like different. Mm-hmm. Like it's like just like different, different ideas of how to do the job, I guess. And I wound up in a PD that really encourages my style of policing. So I couldn't have found a better spot. So that's for leaving here, right? So I got pretty lucky in that aspect, because I had no idea about any PDs in my area when I moved over there. So, yeah. Well,
in my mind, I'm always thinking like for a cop, especially a guy who's on the road, that there's like you want to leave the car and go to be a detective and move up the chain that way. But maybe it sounds like maybe you just really love being on the road.
Yeah, so no, I want to move around too. Like you can, in my opinion, like the burnout, there's a really good burnout on the road. Like my career has been, like I started out super, super hyper, right? Like I'm giving you all these stories, but that's, there'll be a month stretch where I'm just like, I just don't got it in me right now. I just don't want to do this right. Like I just want to pull a couple cars over, maybe find something, but I don't really feel like looking right. There's in my opinion, like the burnout is pretty good. Like I've had a couple month stretches where I just like really not feeling it, and then a couple month stretches where I'm just ready to get after it. And I think that's just part of growing in your career in law enforcement. Like when you are a rookie, you start like you just can't stop pulling cars over, and then as you get like 5, 6, 7, 8 years in, and even further beyond that, it's not like it was when you started. You get burnt out. You need a little change of pace. The last thing I want to be is like a 20-year veteran who's just like hates life, sitting in the car where like just you see it out there. Yeah. I just don't want to be that guy. So yeah, I like to jump into different roles. So, like I said, I was, S.S.C.E.N.T would be the first example. I jumped into a drug detective role, right? And then I joined the Army counter-drug program, and I did that just under a year, right? That's a break from the road. And I got back into policing, and right now I'm jumping into a different role, right? It's actually an SRO position, school resource officer. So that's completely different from being a road cop, right? Shit. And but it's all these different things make you more promotable in the future. It looks the resume is looking good. I got all these different roles I'm jumping into, and then even like right now jumping into this new role, there's burnout exists. Like I don't, I wouldn't say I'm like burnt out of the career, but like, I can use a change of pace and so this is a change
position though.
Yeah.
In the school officer is I loved it when we had it in high school here, when we had, it was always a good resource, somebody extra to talk to, and it's somebody that you respect. You would hope that you get a little respect from the kids. We'll see.
Depending
on where you're at,
I'll be jumping into a middle school. So
is that what you're doing in the middle school?
Yeah,
like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, kind
right?
Of thing? Okay.
Yeah, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So that'll be just a new assignment, change of pace. Get to see experience policing from a different perspective. It's going to be a lot less crazy with the unpredictableness of working the road. It's going to be in the same building every day, in an office, and but not you're not stuck to an office, but it's just the role changes, and there's expectations are a little different, but I still get to work the road a little bit while I do this, so it's a good balance. Like because I know I'll miss it, right?
Yeah.
It's what my career will overall, when it's all said and done, it will be focused around like what kind of street cop I was, what kind of road patrol that I've done, and I'll definitely, every time I've left it, like to go to S.S.C.E.N.T, to go to counter drug, I've just missed it dearly. Like couldn't stand it anymore. Like, I got to get back into the uniform and get in that patrol car. So with this new role, I'll be able to like still work the road a little bit while I work in the school. So it's a good balance. It'll help freshen me back up. Get that little gap of time. To do something else, and then when I jump back into road patrol full time after that, I'll be ready to go again. So.
Talk to me about the stress. I've had police officers on, and there's always like this. There's an edge with you guys. There is. There's a layer that you can't chisel through, and when I think about like my time in the military and trying to communicate some of those things, like when I think about you pulling a car over at 2:00 in the morning, knowing that it's probably drug related, walking up to the passenger side, my fucking chest is starting to pound right now. Like how leaning back on the training. Okay, so if I just go quick back to the military, it's like you train, shit pops off. All you're doing is what your reflexes are telling you to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So walking up to the car is way different than I think, because I've never done it. Then like that all of a sudden, fucking bang, you're in the shit. But here you have moments where you're walking up to it like, okay, how's this gonna go?
Yeah, I can kind of break that down into two parts from what you just explained. So one, the training kind of like approach on a traffic stop, and then two, you want to know about the stress.
Yeah.
I guess the stress, will start there. What's a good way to explain it? Like, you get used to it after a while. Like, I'm actually not really nervous walking up to a car, like you just explained.
Okay.
But there are certain things that will get my heart pumping, like they're slow to stop, or there's I run the plate and the registered owner's got a warrant for their arrest, so then it's a felony level for something dangerous, or there was already a plan to stop that car. Like if I know something more about that car, it'll get my heart pumping a little bit, and you feel a little stressed out going up to it. But most of the time I have like almost no stress stopping a car, just because I've done it so much, and that's probably not necessarily the best thing to say. Like I should always be a little bit worried about every stop, but even like non-traffic stop related, like you're getting sent to a domestic with weapons involved, right? And you gotta know how to approach that situation safely, and know that your backup's coming, and how you both need to approach it, and then how do you get the person separated from the house, the victim separated from the house, and then how am I going to address this person with the weapon, right? That's that'll get your heart pumping too, and then once and then you go to these stressful situations, or like you can paint any scenario, but you go to them, and then you got to be able to be focused, right, on what you're doing. Like you still talk to the person, ask the right questions. I am the safety net. Right? When I get there, like it all ends when I get there, and I'm the one who has to make it happen. And even though it's super stressful, I still have to be I still have to somehow keep my thoughts together and be calm in the voice of reason, even though somebody's screaming and somebody's shouting at me. Somebody might try to fight me, right? Trying to keep yourself focused and kind of centered it only comes with experience, though. Like when I first started my career, like I couldn't, and that's why you got training officers with you, because it would just overwhelm you. You get overwhelmed, right? So, and then like to now, I can jump into a stressful situation, and I can handle myself. But there's always stress. Like there's times like I go to the store with my wife, right? And then I'm driving somewhere, with my wife, and she's got to point out that I'm looking around too much. Like, what are you looking at? Like, we're at a restaurant eating. What are you looking at? And I'm like, no, nothing, but what am I looking at? I'm looking at every single person in the room. Like, I'm looking at the door. I'm looking if I recognize somebody, like I'm constantly like on alert, like wherever I go, especially if it's like in Manistee, not really at all. I'm pretty relaxed here nowadays.
Yeah.
But like where I'm living now, if I'm anywhere close to where I work, or, that greater Flint area, I'm always looking everywhere. Like, you get threatened by people. Like, they're just a lot of false, just,
yeah.
All they can do is talk shit when they're in handcuffs, so they just threaten you. But you still take that seriously, right?
Sure.
And, so there's always that, like, looking around, making sure you don't recognize anybody. So there's always some sort of underlying, like, on alert, little, even off duty with stress. So, but anyway, I don't know if that answers the stress question very well.
We're getting there. I got another question, but go ahead.
But that comes with like good training as well, kind of helps limit that, right? So as you're talking about, like your heart's pounding just talking about walking up to a car.
Right.
Well, especially where I'm at now, I was trained, like, with all due respect to where I started in Manistee, like Grand Blanc where I'm at, like we train very well, and compared to where coming from here, and like just with everything we do is passenger side approach. Everything we do is with backup. We call a lot of people out of the car, and so you can paint me any traffic stop scenario and I can kind of navigate, like, this is what I would do. But right, you walk up to a car and it's 2 a.m. and you're doing the passenger side approach and it's tinted windows and they crack the window down this much, right? And then that makes your skin crawl a little bit. Well, guess what I do? I'm like, hey man, grab your driver's license and step outside and talk to me back here. And then I'll just walk back to the hood of my car, and all the lights are blinding them, right, as they walk up and try to look at where I'm at. And so I've got the edge there, right? Anything that makes my skin crawl, or I just don't feel comfortable walking up to your car, hey man, grab your ID, come out here and talk to me, right? It's that simple for me. And I'll walk back to my car, and if they were going to pop out with a gun or something terrible is going to happen, like, I've already got the edge safety-wise, right? It's a training thing. You don't walk up to the driver's side. You don't, and you can call people out of the car, and keeps you safe. And it's actually, I know you said you got a question for me as well, but I think like this. So that passenger side calling people out of the car approach, like, it might have saved me once, like recently, like. It was a little over a year ago, like, so the winter of like 20, what year are we in, 25? So it would have been the winter of 23. Like, I walked up, it just was kind of sketchy, like drug user looking dude in the back seat, nobody in the front passenger seat, which is just weird. And the driver's a little on edge, right? And so I called him out of the car, and, I walked back to my car, and he stepped out and walked back to me, and I went through my whole traffic stop spiel. I wound up arresting the backseat passenger with a warrant. But I knew this driver was there's something not right. You just can feel it.
Yeah.
There's just something not right here. And so I had him stand with my partner kind of on the curb, and I went over to the driver's side window. I was just thinking drugs in the car, right? Because the backseat passenger had like needles and just looked like he was looked rough, like he looked like a junkie. And but there's this on the driver's floorboard, if you can picture, like between the kind of the center console and the floorboard, there's a knife handle sticking up, like right, if you just rested your arm naturally, right there, like right, the knife handle was like it was in his hand at one point. That's how it was rested. Like the blade was rested at an angle where that knife was in his hand. Like
he could grab it.
Like, yeah. Well. So he was hypothetically he might have had it in his hand while I was and he expected me to walk up to the driver's side, right? Yeah. And so, I've pulled him out of the car because that's just. Something wasn't right, I'm able to pull people out of the car, and that's what I did. And then after the fact, when everything's safe, I see this big knife sitting there, and I looked up and where the guy was, and I'm like, oh, like this guy's, getting arrested for this. Like, this is not good. Like this is why he's hiding. Like, this would be weird. And I walked back over to him. I'm like, all right, man, turn and put your hands behind your back and put, you're under arrest. And it wound up, we getting a big fight with this guy.
Oh, no shit.
Like he wound up going like ape shit on us, like trying to fight. And like, it was me and my partner. So we controlled him very well, got him to the ground and handcuffed him. But like, the dude was big and strong, and he was trying to fight and do whatever he could to get out of there. And it wound up, he was high on meth, and which is even more dangerous.
Yeah, superhuman at that point.
Yeah, it's superhuman, and like somebody who is high could do something like try to grab your gun and like literally try to kill you. Like they're super dangerous when they're high as well. Like they can be. So, but long story short, talking about safety and stress, like, good training, like I just explain, can kind of helps limit the stress, also can save you. Like that could have been it right there. Like, looking at that knife and how it was positioned, and it wound up, this guy had a bunch of meth in the car too. Well, by a bunch, like, it's enough, right? Yeah. So a bunch, probably not a bunch, but a couple, like a couple grams, but it was a good amount. So he was hiding drugs. He was, he had a weapon right there in his immediate reach. So, it's like thinking about it after the fact. Like, I was in the moment, I was more just on an adrenaline high, just from getting in a fight with them and everything. But like, after the fact, thinking about that, I'm like, holy shit! Like, that was scary. That's real scary, And but anyway, go ahead. You had a question.
Yeah, about the stress, but I'll come back to that, because that'll be more of a tie up the podcast. But the where is your, so like, I had my buddy Tom on, who was a vice detective for, I don't know, like a decade, and I asked him about like the going up the ladder, as far as like you gotta buy, or let's just say you're a road cop and you've pulled somebody over, they got a bunch of drugs in their car.
Yeah.
All right, like, I wanted this to be like the fucking movies. All right, like, who's your supplier kind of thing. Like, where do we go from here? Mm-hmm. This is what runs through my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, especially here in Manistee, you see all these little fucking drug dealers, these little, bag. I watch them, dude. I can see them.
It's obvious.
Selling
they
drugs.
Make it obvious, yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, where are you getting all this shit from? Because you clearly look like a piece of shit. So you're not
right.
like the guy. So where's it coming from? And then you get that guy, and then you're like, all right, dickhead, now where's it all coming from? Well, we all know where it's coming from, but it's like, how can we start cutting the heads off some of these bigger snakes?
Yeah, and so what you just described is what the goal is of, like, working of S.S.C.E.N.T in any drug team.
Yeah.
Like, the goal is to move up the ladder, right? Like, just to get your local, like, guy you explained isn't a win,
right,
in the grand scheme of things. So the goal, if I'm a S.S.C.E.N.T detective and I get this and I arrest a local drug dealer, right? I get a case, do a couple buys and arrest them. I'm like, okay, man, you kind of give them the opportunity, like, you could probably work some of these charges off and, set your life on a better path and put this behind you. Literally drop the charges if you give us your drug dealer, and like, you gotta buy from him and introduce one of us to him. And that guy might be from Muskegon Heights, and the guy coming from Muskegon Heights, and then he comes up and sells dope to us, and then we pass that. He might want to work with the Muskegon Heights team and work off his charges, and so send him over to this team in the Heights, and they'll work with him on getting dope from his dealer there, and then pass it along, to Chicago, right? The whole idea is to get it as far towards like the border as possible, which is generally where everything would be coming from. So, yes, that is the goal of law enforcement on the drug teams, especially. Like, even me as a street cop, right? If I pull a car over and there's drugs in it, I don't just end it right there. I don't just, okay, that information's mine and mine only. All right, like, I'm getting a hold of our local detective and giving him the information so he can take it and try to move up the chain as much as possible, and take down the biggest level drug dealers possible. So that is the goal. Yes.
How frustrated do you get though sometimes? being a street cop, and then you bust somebody, and you obviously know there's more to this, and it kind of stalls out or doesn't go anywhere. It's like, God damn, you're
just like opening up all these like thoughts and emotions I haven't even thought about in a couple of years. But man, it's extremely frustrating. Mainly as a detective, right? As a street cop, honestly, at the end of the day, if they want to be an asshole and I'm not going to say anything, I don't give a shit. I'm going to take you to jail. And I don't have to see you again. Like, whatever. Like, that's your loss. But as a detective, when it's your job to do that and keep moving up the ladder as much as possible, it's so frustrating. And like, I don't want to sound mean or any but when you're dealing with somebody who is a drug addict and you're trying to have a professional adult conversation about, this is their situation and this is, what we need to do to improve your life and kind of get these charges behind you and what we got to do as cops. It's like, it's a 99% chance they're going to lie to you, and it's just not going to work. Just it's not the person themselves, but it's just the addiction, the drug that causes the person to just not even be a shell of who they should be, right? And you're dealing with somebody who's just I don't even think they know how to tell the truth, especially as the cop talking to somebody on drugs. It's constantly getting lied to, constantly getting ghosted, and you're supposed to meet somebody somewhere and they don't show up and you never hear from them again. And you're just dealing with somebody who is not even themselves. And they're just they would steal from their own grandmother to buy their next fix, and it's that just makes, it sharpens you as a cop and how to talk to people. I got really good at playing the game with them too, in this area. So they'll lie, play mind games, just fucking with you the whole time, right? And so I would do the same thing back, because it's not illegal for me as a police officer to interview and tell a fib, right? And so I knew that these people were lying to me, and I knew they were going to lie to me, so I would just go into an interview with them and lie to them back, and I'd get information I needed, right? Turn them against their friend or something, and they'd be like, that really pissed me off, and then they'll give me information, or you learn how to interview specific ways to finally kind of get some information out of people. And so it became kind of fun as a detective interviewing people, kind of playing some mind games as well, and kind of which is unfortunately it's the only way to make progress and dealing and talking with them. But I don't even remember the question you asked now. I just went off on a completely different rabbit hole.
No, it's good. No, I'm getting it. It's coming to me. So look, if we go all the way back to you said you were in the Army when you were 8. Were you in the ROTC or anything in high school, or?
No.
But you had to do active duty, right? Or were you just straight up in the Guard the whole time? No. So the Guard is just part-time, right?
It's just, so how it works is when I was 18, I, talked to a recruiter, enlisted. Mm-hmm. I was still a senior in high school. I went to a program called RSP. It's Recruit Sustainment Program, and it's your pre-basic training. This is what the Army is. Let's get used to it, right? Yeah. And I hated it. I was like, man, it was miserable. So you were in Air Force. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, how boot camp is, right? Yeah. It's getting you ready for boot camp as a senior in high school. It's man, I'm a kid. I should be hanging out on the weekends with my friends, and here I am doing push-ups until I throw up, basically. Yeah. So, but the RSP brings you right up to boot camp, and then you ship. You do your 10-week boot camp, and then you go your AIT and get trained for your job. So that's your active duty stint, I guess, would be that 10 weeks plus whatever 2 months of your AIT training. So I was gone for 5 months right after my senior year, and I came back, and then from there it's just 1 weekend a month with your unit. So my unit was in Kalamazoo at the time, and so you do 2 days on Saturday, Sunday once a month, and then you're required to do an annual training, and which is a 15-day stretch throughout the year. Generally, for most people, it's in the summertime, 15 days, but it's just 15 days wherever however they want you to do it. So it's really just that, and you can do like I said, like there's full-time jobs available with it, like with the guards, so you can be, I guess, active duty technically, working in Michigan, living at home. So there's a lot of opportunities with full-time, but you can also just be part-time.
So did you have the itch to be in law enforcement in high school then? And then the Army kind of just helped kind of steer you more in that direction?
Yeah, the Army definitely steered me in that direction.
Yeah.
But I did not have much of an interest in high school to go into law enforcement, really. And it's not really, I don't really have a great story of what got me interested in being a cop, besides I didn't think college was for me. I just didn't like it. Like, just going to West Shore, I hated it. Like, I just hate school. And here I am being an SRO. But, no,
exactly.
But anyway, so no, it's kind of a boring route of what got me into law enforcement. Like, it's like, okay, I'm already in the Guard, and, being a cop is similar to military, and so this may be something I could transition to, and the convenience of it, really. And so, if I'm going to be honest, it was the convenience of going to the academy at West Shore with an associate's degree and jumping into a career by only going to college for 2 years. And that's what piqued my interest the most. And then I start doing the career, and I love it. It's like what I was supposed to do. It was what I was made for. And so I got extremely lucky because I just picked it out of convenience, really, and it wound up being a great career choice. So, like, no crazy story about it or anything that's special, just...
Well, I mean, I just love the
job.
fact that you were like, so I went to West Shore Academy. It was easy. I got a job, and I think more dudes need to think that way. Pick something and go get it. Go get a certificate. Go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. Go be.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're fucking, you're rolling around playing video games and you don't know what you want to do with your life. I mean, at least go to get something and go start something, whatever it is. Right. Oh yeah,
there's a whole nother topic right there. Yeah. No, I hear you. It's embarrassing, like just in a police setting when I go to someone's house and it's like, somebody who's my age and literally just like living with their grandma, right? Playing video games all day, living in the garage or something like that. But no, like it's not that hard to go get a career. You just got to have some sort of drive, a little bit of work ethic, right? Which it seems to be, especially, I guess, people my age, it seems to be deteriorating. But
I agree.
Yeah.
I tell my kids, especially my older kids, I'm like, if you want to succeed today, it's not that fucking hard. You got to be just a little bit more aggressive in your goal setting, and you will rise, because there are so many that are just like, I don't want to do anything. Yeah,
it's really easy to rise to the top if you want to, and like whatever you want that to be, right? Not everybody has to be a cop or in the Army, right? It sounds cool, but it's a job, right? And it's ultimately I get a paycheck to support me and my wife. But if, like, man, you can go do so many things. I mean, you can work literally anywhere and just have some sort of work ethic and just try to do a good job. Show up to work when you're supposed to be there. Actually, show up 10 minutes early and show that you give a damn, and try when you're there. And try to do a good job. It's really easy to just show up at the right place at the right time and go to work. Somebody's going to show you how to do your job, and just try to be good at whatever you're doing, and you're going to rise so easily. Mm-hmm. It's incredible how in my own career that has worked just by having a good work ethic. Like, I'm not that smart, right? Like I said, I hated school, but I showed up at the sheriff's office literally knowing nothing. Those guys, they could have fired me when I was 1-2 months in, because I was not very intelligent. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know what a larceny was, right? I knew nothing about policing, but I just went to work every day and I chipped away at it and I tried, and I wound up going to S.S.C.E.N.T, getting on this counter drug. This is all built off of work ethic. This is all not intelligence, not being the best there is. This is all built off of, like, this guy is a workhorse. Like, he goes to work and he tries right? Like the opportunities, the doors that have opened for me in my life and my career from a work ethic standpoint is incredible. Like, again, not the most intelligent guy. I think in 2018 or 19, like there was some Manistee JC's young adult like award ceremony. Like I was the 19 officer of the year for Manistee County. That's just from work ethic, right? I was just out there getting after it. And even at my current place of employment, like 2023 officer of the year, and then I got some other traffic enforcer award, and this is all just because I work hard. And now, you know, I've had this for 7 years in law enforcement. I feel like I have a more decorated career than a lot of people, but it's just going out there and showing up to work and doing my job the way it's supposed to be done, right? And you just don't see that.
You don't.
No.
You know, and when you do see it, it's like, yeah, you can tell right away.
Yeah.
That person is going to fucking succeed because they're getting after it.
Yeah, like in my own mind, it's like there's no way I should have been given these opportunities and like be where I'm at. I mean, like there's no way, because there's so many other people that are better than me, that are smarter than me at my own job, right? And it's just showing up and just trying. Like,
I mean,
you know,
honestly, I beat this drum quite a bit sometimes. I'm like, it's not that hard to just put in the effort.
Right.
And I think that there's like, so what happens is like, have you ever read Atomic Habits?
No, explain it.
So Atomic Habits, I can't remember, James Clear, I think, is the author. But anyways, it's a really good book, and it's basically like, you know, it takes just a few days to develop a habit. Little things, like if you always brush your teeth with the right hand, but for whatever reason you want to do it with your left, it just takes a couple days, and pretty soon you don't even remember that you used to brush your teeth with your right hand. And that's a really small anecdote, but basically it's like if you're the kind of person that's, you know, just not succeeding in your mind, you're not succeeding, everything's, you got to develop certain habits. It's like getting up in the morning and fucking getting jacked like you are, right? Like you got to, if you want to be healthy, well, you got to change your habits. Like what are the things that you're putting in your body that are shitty, and you got to start not doing that. Well, it's hard. It's hard if you're somebody that eats a bunch of junk food or whatever. So you got to figure it out. Okay, so today, I'm going to start today, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to try to do this for 3 or 4 days. Well, once you get to the 4th day, your body's already like, I don't need that other shit. Going to the gym sucks. It's hard.
Yeah.
And it fucking hurts when you first start. So I don't know how many times it's like, I know people that are like, well, I'm going to start going to the gym tomorrow. Okay. And then they go for like a day, maybe 2 days, and they're feeling the pain because they haven't done it. And then they quit and they stop going. Like, I'm just gonna say that just for me, like I get up at the same time every morning. I haven't used an alarm clock in years. The clock is next to my bed, but my eyes open, and when I look at it, it's within 5-10 minutes of the same time.
That's
every
incredible.
single morning.
Nice.
I get up, make coffee for myself and my wife, and then I leave. I go to the gym. That routine is not for everybody. If it's a 2 o'clock in the afternoon workout, well, make 2 o'clock in the afternoon your workout time every single day. And I know I'm talking about working out here, but this is for everything.
It's the small habits.
Yes.
It's consistency. It's committing to something.
Saving money.
It's not just working out. It's a commitment to yourself, a commitment, you know, to your long-term health. It's building good habits, which are going to overlap into your career and to your and to your relationships, into everything in life. So just something simple of hitting the gym every morning is going to make you a better, it's going to help you as a professional. It's every facet of life, right? Yeah. And you can compare that to getting up at 6 a.m. and you're going for a walk, or you're diving into a book. You know, you're making some sort of habit, something to sharpen yourself, right? So
and people are like, well, you're just a gym bro, but listen, just like you just said, so I have habits that I continue with because it affects this podcast, it affects my income, it affects my relationship with my wife, my relationships with my kids, my relationship with my friends, business partners, everything. If I'm right, if I'm healthy, if I'm strong, and I'm working hard, it benefits everybody around me, not just me. You know, so what's the downside of that?
There isn't.
Yeah, there's a shitload of downsides from not doing anything.
Right. Right.
And I just can't get my arm around it. I mean, I don't understand why there is a lack of motivation today. I just feel like in everything.
Yeah, I don't have the answers to that either, but like you see a lot of laziness and just a lot of not trying, and when it's like we've been saying, it's like it's not difficult to find something and to take the bull by the horn and get after it. So
to kind of bookend it then, back to the stress thing, like what are you doing for yourself to maybe help? 'Cause I know for me, just the regiment that I go through 100% keeps my mind clear, keeps me focused on the things that are most important to me.
Yeah.
And it's a way for me to shut out all the negative bullshit and just focus on positive energy. That's the working out, the way that I eat, all the bro science shit that I do with like the cold plunge and stuff like that. Can't wait to get a sauna. We're working on getting a sauna soon.
You do the cold plunges?
Yeah. I've been doing it for like almost 4 years now. And I fucking love it.
I've seen it. I've never tried it. So maybe I need to.
It's a game changer.
Okay.
It really is. The older you get, I think it's a game changer.
But you're asking about what do I do? Like my routine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it depends if I work or not. Like if I'm, luckily where I work right now, they give me an hour during my shift to work out. And so, nice. Which is like,
that's gold.
I get paid to be an athlete now. Yeah. So, but for me, I go to the gym about every single day, maybe 5-6 days a week. This week's different because I'm up here kind of on a little vacation. So, but like on a work day, it's morning time. Like I meal prep the day before. And at work, probably, by 8 a.m., I get a lift in or some sort of cardio, and I'm not some gym wizard, so I download an app on my phone and I follow the app with the exercises and the it's got like an 8-week program or whatever, and I follow that to the T, and that's like 5-6 days a week, and I make sure to eat fairly healthy. So I've gone back and forth of being kind of like a macro counter to just eating, right? Yeah. And so to me that's the hardest battle, is the nutrition and the consistency with that. Overall, like I eat healthy, but it's just whether I'm counting or not. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So I'll have like a high protein like breakfast, right, to go with my lift, and then drink a shake and try to have some sort of like beef and rice, combination, chicken and rice combination for lunch, and, try to just have a consistent like high protein diet going into my day. And, I mean, it's pretty much as simple as that for like a routine every day. Like if I'm not working, it's still like I'll wake up in the morning, drink black coffee. That's one thing I do. I don't try to put creamer in it or anything like that. And, try to, like, if people are trying to like eat right and cut down calories, like a lot of people load their coffee up with French vanilla. It's good, but 400
calories.
Yeah, so just little practices like that, like just drink black coffee and like use that as my pre-workout, the caffeine from that, and like on a day off I'll hit the gym in the morning, and from there go into my day, whatever I'm doing. But yeah, it helps. It helps with work too. I get up early and I hit the gym fairly early in my shift, and then once I'm done working out, I'm pretty wide awake and a little more motivated because I just accomplished something, and and now I'm ready to go into my shift and be productive, right? And it's incredible, like how post workout, how motivated you feel, and like how much energy you have to actually like go take your daily tasks, whatever that is, and like to go and accomplish something. Like,
yeah, I can't emphasize enough getting up and getting a workout in. It just changes the whole thing. And most mornings, to be honest with you, I'm sitting there drinking my coffee like, fuck, I gotta go to the gym. I gotta get there. I gotta get this in. Even if it's 40 minutes, just get it in. Get it done.
No, you fired me up. I see you on your Instagram, like lifting the weights and trying to fire other people up. That works. It's like if I'm just sitting there like looking at my phone and seeing something like that and I haven't lifted yet, I'm like, somebody else is getting after it. I still need to do it too,
And then the comments come in, toxic masculinity. Fuck off.
What, for exercising?
Yeah. Okay. Just trying to be healthy here, folks.
No, I like what you're doing. Like, those are good posts. Like, you should want to be a good man.
Yeah.
Like, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whatever you define it as. Like, and what you're putting on Instagram, and somebody doesn't like it or not, it's like that's what you're trying to strive to be. That's your definition of being a good man. So, and I like that stuff. But no, you should always try to be the best version of yourself.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you got some big things in your future, dog.
Oh.
I really do.
Well, thanks,
I really
James.
do. One of these days, what we have to do is get together with, I don't know how close or not close or how we are with Sheriff Gutowski, but we got to get together and work out. We got to work out.
No,
that guy's a fucking beast, dude.
Yeah, he's gotten big.
He's jacked.
Yeah.
He's jacked.
I jokingly, like when I message you that I'll be in town, I'm like, yeah, this podcast will be the 15 to 20 year younger version of, your podcast with Gutowski and Madako. But I was serious, man. Like those guys.
Madako, Jesus Christ, he's a big bastard.
Oh yeah, no, he is. Yeah, when I was lifting, when I was using the public gym here in Manistee, like he'd be there and just crushing it. Like
he gets like at 4 a.m.
But well, that's good.
It's nuts. Usually when I'm walking in,
Yeah.
I'm walking in, he's walking out. And every now and then, some days I'll do like a 2 a day. I'll go do like cardio in the morning and then go back in the afternoon. So I'll go there in the morning and he's like squatting 1,000,000 pounds, and then sneak in for an afternoon workout and he's there benching. Just twice a day, just destroying the weights.
Yeah. No, you brought up Gutowski. I like, he was my boss before I left there. I felt terrible going into his office and telling him I'm leaving. Like I really do like Gutowski. Yeah, he would always come up to me and tell me like, I'd be one of the future leaders at the department there. So yeah, it hurt leaving because that's what I wanted to do as well. And there's always going to be a part of me that wishes that was still the case. But no, I left on good terms and always got along with him. And yeah, so definitely have to hit the gym.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, welcome home, even though you're only here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming on the podcast. We should do this again. We'll expand a little bit more. We'll talk about other shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for coming.